By early spring 1775, the British High Command decides it's time to stop the Patriot movement before it can grow any stronger. General Gage receives strict orders. Take their weapons, take their leaders, and hopefully avoid taking a public relations disaster in the process. His first target is the quiet little town of Concord, rumored to be stuffed with Patriot gunpowder and supplies. But the Patriots? They're not just ready, they're expecting the British. What follows is a chaotic race between an army marching in silence, 19th April 1775. Around midnight, 700 British infantry, drawn from elite grenadier and light infantry companies, cross Boston Harbor in boats and begin their march to Concord. They are led by Colonel Francis Smith. His operation is supposed to be secret. The route has been carefully planned, and British scouts and spies patrol the countryside. But the Patriots have their own spy network in Boston, and before the British have even left the city, several Patriot horsemen, including Paul Revere, have ridden out to raise the alarm across eastern Massachusetts. The long, cold tension between Empire and Colony is about to ignite. Just before sunrise in Lexington, an uneasy whisper races through the crisp air as Captain John Parker realizes the British column is closing in faster than anyone expected. He gathers 80 militiamen on the village green to observe their advance. Around dawn, at 5 a.m., the head of the British column arrives. Redcoat officers order the militiamen to lay down their arms. Instead, insults fly, nerves fray, and for one suspended heartbeat, the world forgets to breathe. Then, a single mysterious shot shatters the silence. No one knows who fired, but everyone feels the consequences. British regulars unleash a blazing volley, forcing the militia to scatter for their lives. 8 men fall, 1 redcoat is wounded, and history quietly snaps open its first page of the American Revolution. The British march on to Concord, but the element of surprise they've been counting on was lost hours ago. On arrival, the British discover most of the Patriot stores have been hidden or removed. They spread out across town to destroy what they can find. North of Concord, a restless militia force crowds the ridge, looking less like an army and more like a storm waiting for permission to break loose. Among them stand the famed Minutemen, hand-picked locals who can switch from plowing fields to defending liberty faster than most people can lace their boots. 400 strong, they stare down at the small British detachment guarding North Bridge, outnumbering the Redcoats 4-1. Rumors swirl like angry hornets, whispers of slaughter at Lexington, smoke rising from town, and British mischief everywhere. Under growing pressure from his men, Colonel James Barrett finally gives the order to advance. Both sides are told not to fire first, which works beautifully until it doesn't. Startled by the approaching colonists, the British unleash a shaky, uneven volley. The militia answer with steady fire, and casualties appear on both sides. Outnumbered and unnerved, the Redcoats break and flee. Shocked by their sudden triumph, the militia hold position, staring across a battlefield now marked by fallen men. By midday, Colonel Smith realizes his situation is collapsing faster than he can issue commands. He orders a retreat toward Boston, hoping the road is clear, but instead finds thousands of Patriot militia lining every stretch. Ambushes erupt relentlessly, cutting down British officers and shredding the march's discipline. Redcoats, shaken and furious, storm nearby homes to flush out hidden rebels, bayoneting anyone they suspect of aiding the fight. The withdrawal disintegrates into a staggering shambolic retreat. At 2 p.m., Smith's weary troops reach Lexington, where salvation appears in Lord Percy's brigade, 1,000 men and 2 cannon rumbling in from Boston. Yet even reinforced, they stand against nearly 4,000 militia. Percy's guns thunder, scattering Patriot lines and granting the British a brief window to breathe before their punishing march resumes. Lord Percy manages to impose order on the retreat, shaping the battered British column into something that at least pretends to be organized. Still, militia marksmen perched along the route pick off his men with relentless precision. As the Redcoats close in on Boston, Percy wisely diverts them eastward, steering clear of a massive militia force massing near Cambridge. Near nightfall, the survivors reach Charlestown, exhausted, blistered, and running purely on instinct. Many have been marching and fighting for nearly 24 hours without rest. British casualties reach 73 killed and 173 wounded. American losses are 49 killed and 39 wounded. The outcome, Percy later admits, could have been catastrophic.
I had the happiness of saving them from inevitable destruction.
Of the colonists, he adds,
Whoever dares to look upon them as an irregular mob will find himself much mistaken. They have men amongst them who know very well what they are about.
By 18th century standards, these battles are mere skirmishes, yet the shockwaves they unleash will reshape the future of an entire continent. In the uneasy calm after the fighting, Boston finds itself surrounded. Nearly 15,000 militiamen encircle the city, turning Britain's stronghold into a pressure cooker. The Redcoats are effectively under siege, and Massachusetts has crossed a decisive line, from resistance into open rebellion. The news races through the colonies like a shockwave, transforming scattered outrage into a shared sense of destiny. 3 weeks later, delegates assemble in Philadelphia for the Second Continental Congress. Many arrive expecting long debates over petitions and protests. Instead, events have outrun caution. With armed conflict now undeniable, Congress begins behaving less like an assembly of complainers and more like a government at war. Committees are formed to secure muskets, powder, and artillery. Loans are approved to pay for them, and bills of credit are issued. Currency backed not by gold, but by conviction. Congress also looks outward, authorizing overtures to potential allies in Canada, Britain's Caribbean colonies, and among Native American nations, understanding that survival may depend on help from beyond the 13 colonies. Veterans of the First Congress return, seasoned but wary, while new faces bring fresh gravity to the chamber. Benjamin Franklin, celebrated inventor and political operator, has just returned from England and is promptly appointed Postmaster General, tasked with building a communications network for a country still being imagined. John Hancock, wealthy and defiant, is impossible to miss. Then in June, a quiet but brilliant young lawyer arrives from Virginia, Thomas Jefferson. Yet amid speeches and committees, one issue towers above all others. If Britain responds in force, scattered militias will not be enough. Congress must create a unified continental army. The massive militiamen around Boston will form its backbone, but leadership is the real question. Debate circles the room, but for many delegates, the answer seems obvious. George Washington, a 43-year-old Virginian, is widely respected for both his patriot principles and his hard-earned experience in the French and Indian War. Tall, disciplined, and visibly composed, he reinforces his reputation by attending Congress in his Fairfax militia officer's uniform, a silent but effective reminder of his readiness. John Adams formally nominates him, convinced that a Virginian commanding New England troops will strengthen colonial unity. On June 15, 1775, Congress unanimously approves Washington as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. He accepts without pay, asking only that his expenses be covered. Privately, he is troubled by the road ahead, lamenting that America must choose between bloodshed and submission. In time, many will question this appointment. History will remember it as one of Congress's wisest decisions. And before Washington can even reach his army, grim news arrives. The British have already attacked again.